Hello and welcome everybody. On today's video I'm going to show you how to properly gap your spark plugs. So very few simple tools. You're going to use some type of gap tool. This one I picked up from Amazon for about 15 bucks. I'll have the link in the description below. It is a great tool because, you know, some people say you could tap on a hard surface in order to get the gap how you want it, but I do not want to be tapping with expensive spark plugs. Also, I have some feeler gauges. I'm going to gap these to 0.22, which will be appropriate for the stage 2 tune that we will be doing with our downpipe. So without further ado, let me show you how I do it. There's plenty of videos how other people do it, but what I think is the best is to do it like this. So I'm going to show you. As you can see, I'm going to stick to a 0.22 feeler gauge, and so these are laser iridium tips. Okay, so if you look very closely at the tip here, that is coated in iridium. So what you don't want to be doing is constantly rubbing your feeler gauge up and down against this, because you're just basically taking off that iridium. So what I'm going to be doing is slowly tightening this down and checking the gap. As soon as this feels any kind of resistance, I'm going to leave it at that, and it should be properly gapped. Alright, so as you can see right there, if I take my feeler gauge, so I already started slightly compressing this down, and there's still no, I mean, we are almost there. Let me see if I can get you guys any closer here. Focus in. We are just there, so I'm gonna tighten this up ever so slightly. Okay. And I back up off a little bit. Let me take this out. And let's see with the feeler gauge where we're at here. So we are almost there. So you see, I'm running the gauge on top of the top here, not on the electrode, because that's where the iridium is. So you don't want to be taking that iridium off. So if we go through, on camera you could see nice where how much space I have. So I'm going to go a little bit more. And what you got to keep in mind is that there's like a springing action, so when you slightly compress it, it's going to spring back a little bit, so you got to be aware of that, okay? Okay, I still have just a little bit more to go. Okay, bring it back. Yep, we're almost there. So I'm going to keep repeating this process until I'm there. And I seen legit street cars where he did it where he took a smaller feeler gauge. So let's say if I wanted this to gap to 0.22, what he did was take like a 0.18 for example, and then put it in there, compress it with the machine, and then when it springs back it becomes 0.22. So that's also another way of doing it, which, you know, which could work. Yep, almost there. So I'm pretty pleased with that. That's probably like 0.23. So I'm gonna give it one more little squeeze and it's gonna be done. So that's how I gap my spark plugs. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe, like, and comment. More content coming for the BMW M5. We're gonna try to make some power and more noise.